Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my home in Livingston, Montana. Now hang on here for a minute while I get the dust bunnies and fur balls and hair balls out of my throat. You know what I mean? Sure you do. I gotta throw an intelligence, a stupid intelligent kind of a question at you right off the get-go. See if you're sleeping or not. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. I don't, whatever you're doing is fine with me, to a certain extent. Okay, I had a fellow by the name of Ralph. I don't know who Ralph is. I don't even know his last name. I don't know nothing about Ralph. The only Ralph I ever knew real well in my life was my stepdad. But anyway, Ralph writes me and he says, "My name is Ralph, born and raised in Delaware. I visited Butte, Montana. Have you any stories about Butte?" Ralph, I've got a lot of stories about Butte. I worked in Butte from 1990 to 1995. I worked as a research assistant or field technician, whatever you want to call it, for the Montana State Bureau of Mines and Geology. 5 years I worked for that outfit. And by the way, your name, Ralph, let me tell you something about that name. That's what happens when you've had a long night out in the pub. You understand what I mean? Ralph! No, I'm just kidding. Don't get all twisted up, Ralph. Okay. I had somebody tell me that one time. Okay, look. The Bureau of Mines and Geology is an establishment that's hooked onto Montana Tech right at the present time. It wasn't back in the day. Montana Tech is the college in Bozeman. The college in Bozeman bought out all that stuff over there in Butte, and the Bureau of Mines and Geology was a state agency that kept track of things like mine contamination, mine statistics, where mines were located, all this stuff. Okay, now Ralph wanted a story, and I've already sat down one time and tried to tell a story, but counting this intro and my other story I was going to tell, it would have taken me a half an hour. Because in order for you to appreciate this weird little story I'm going to tell, you're going to have a little background on what I was doing in Butte. Okay, I was part of taking care of these hazardous waste sites that happened because of mining. The Silverbow Creek runs right through Butte, Montana, and flows right into the Clarks Fork River. Because of all the mining contamination that went on up in and around the Berkeley pit, and all the dynamite they did, and the deep shafts, and the pit itself and everything, they pretty much screwed up some of the ground over there in Butte, and some of the waterways, and some of the aquifer. It's just that doggone simple. I mean, mining can take its toll on the earth, depending on what kind of mining, because you've got you've got open pit mining, deep shaft mining. There's all kinds of ways to mine. Okay, well, my job was to basically go around and collect samples, water samples, soil samples, and take care of a few hazardous waste sites, and monitor the level of a bunch of observation wells that we had strung around Butte to keep track of the water level, and we take tests once in a while, and all kinds of stuff. Not just in Silverbow County. We went into other counties too. Like right next door to Silverbow County is a place called Deer Lodge County. To give you an idea of what we were up against, ladies and gentlemen, do you know how many old abandoned mines there are in Deer Lodge County? There's 9,000 abandoned mom and pops, 2 and 3 and 4 man operation mines, abandoned, old, shut down in just Deer Lodge County alone. And there's all kinds of mines that stretch up towards Missoula and up towards Helena and all that kind of stuff. Wherever there was old abandoned mines, basically, unless it was too dangerous to get in there, they send me and another one of our team members, if you will, to go in and get water samples, soil samples, and stuff like that. You take like the Berkeley pit, the pH, the probability of hydrogen in that pit alone is only 1.5. It was at the time, and that pit still got a bunch of water in it, like 700 and some odd feet worth. And it's about 2 football fields across either way you go, north, south, east, and west. That's one of the biggest bodies of contaminated water out here in the West, for sure. It might be one of the biggest bodies of contaminated water in America, as far as I'm concerned, just because of all the mining that they did. Back in the day, before they shut down mining in Butte, they were taking and doing open pit, dynamite and putting everything in big haul trucks and then doing the circle thing until they got up to the top, and then they haul the ore off like that, It's a long-winded process. I'd be here forever and a day explaining what I did for the Bureau of Mines and Geology. Just accept the fact that I was mostly their field guy. I set up pumps. I got lots of samples. I must have hauled 75,000 gallons out of the Berkeley pit alone. For different companies that analyzed water, checked, everything. And they were trying to figure out ways to clean up that Berkeley pit. I can't remember now how many billions of gallons they estimated was in that Berkeley pit, but it was a lot. But anyway, that's what I did for the Montana Bureau of Mines and Geology. And I didn't do just mining disasters. Like in the middle of Butte, they used to have what they called the Montana Post and Pole Plant that operated for like 50 years. What they were doing is they were taking railroad ties, posts, poles, you name it, and they were treating them with creosote and diesel, a creosote and diesel mix. That's to keep the wood from rotting. You guys know how the old railroad ties look all black and everything, not the new ones. The old ones and the old telephone poles, how brownish they look. That's creosote and diesel. That stuff has got PCBs in it, which is environmentally unfriendly and unhealthy. So I did stuff like that. I did a lot of things. The list is long, and I don't have the time. I'd never be able to cover it all, but just trust me. It was a state job. I wasn't making a lot of money. Basically I was starving to death, and I moved on in my life. But the story I want to tell, besides what I did, and all that stuff, it doesn't really matter what I did. But I did live in Butte. I understand that old mining town. I understand the mentality of that old mining town. But one day I was in a state truck, okay? And I'd been up at the Bureau of Mines. I was connected with the school they had there, and which is bought out by Montana Tech now, which is over at Bozeman. But anyway, at the time it wasn't. But I'd been up at the Bureau doing something. I don't know. They were always hollering at me on the radio about this and that, and stuff they wanted me to do and whatnot, have you. But I happened to come down a place called Montana Street. And if you don't know Montana Street, you've never been to Butte, Montana. I come down Montana Street and underneath the freeway, and right there on the right-hand side, it is a place called the Freeway Bar. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because I'm hoping that people watch this video remember a gentleman by the name of Evel Knievel. Robert Knievel. And I think I might have already told this story on my channel before. But there he was. I knew who Robert Knievel was. Evel Knievel, the old man, not Robbie, his son, which I met him and I know him too. But I'd never met Evel Knievel, even though I watched him jump a bunch of cars and buses, or what, I think it was cars, in Ronan, Montana. I think Evel told me he was 27 years old or something like that, and I was like 13. That's a true story. I got to watch Evel jump cars and stuff like that when he was just first getting started. Well, I've seen Evel going in the Freeway Bar, so knowing me, I probably whipped right around in Montana Street, flung a U-E, and swung right into that parking lot, man, because I was going to meet me and Evel Knievel come hell or high water. Come hell or Silverbow Creek or whatever have you. So, I parked that old state truck. It was an unmarked truck, by the way, guy. Well, it had state license plates, but anyway, I went in there, and I went tromping right in there, man. And I looked at old Evel Knievel. I said, I know you, And he goes, he looked at me kind of funny, because Evel Knievel at that time, he was all retired. He'd met millions of people, So I sat kind of down at the end of the bar and give Evel some space, like 4 or 5 bar stools or something like that. And he goes, where'd you see me at? Now, I told him about when I was a kid now, that Ronan jump, and we got in the great big conversation about that. And, of course, he asked my name, and, and I told him I worked for the Bureau of Mines and Geology. And, Evel looked at me, he said, you making any money at that? And I go, no, as a matter of fact, I'm starving and I'm broke, Evel. I did. And old Evel even bought me 2 beers, which I graciously sucked right on down, because back in them days, I used to haul in the suds, I don't anymore because I'm too old, and I'm not kidding anybody, I dang sure ain't kidding the girls, and, my wife wouldn't like it because she says I turn into that guy when I'm drinking, which I do, I want to, come on, guys, you turn into you get drunk and you get stupid, okay? This isn't an AA meeting here. But anyway, me and old Evel sit there and shot the shit like we knew each other for 120 years, because I'd watched everything that Evel Knievel did and all that, and pretty soon he says, well, Jim, he says, I hate to do this, but I got to go over to Fairmont Hot Springs, which is just over by Crackerville, which is just over by Anaconda, which is not that far, about 20 miles from Butte. The hot springs over there, and there's a big old golf course. Well, actually, he was going to Fairmont Hot Springs, but I think he was going to another golf course that Jack Nicklaus built or something there, Well, anyway, so I walked Evel out to his car, and by God, he was in I don't know what year it is, it doesn't really matter, but he had an Austin Healey. That's an English-made car. And he goes, hey, Jim, he said, before I go, you want to sit in this thing? And I go, yeah, man. And I sat in there, and I looked down at that speedometer. It said 240 miles an hour. And I looked up at Evel. I said, have you ever had this thing going 240 miles an hour? He said, no, but I had her going 180 one time. And I said, where the hell was that? And he says, oh, between here and Missoula. Them straight stretches that are in there? And I go, yeah. And he said, he opened her up to 180, but he pulled out of it because the corners were coming up on him and everything like that. But, yeah, so that's, and, how much stuff can you, blow in each other's ears in a half an hour? But if I remember right, there was just me, the barkeep, and Evel, and there was a few people because they served food in that freeway bar. It's still there. I know that for a fact to this date. And the date is the 22nd of December of 2020, and I've got 12:16 p.m. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, it's my birthday tomorrow. I'll be 69 years old. That doesn't have anything to do with anything, but at least I got to meet Evel before he died. He was retired by the time I did get a chance to meet him, and it was just one of the real highlights for me to meet somebody that, was really, really world known, I mean, I know some people thought Evel was crazy. Some people, didn't like him because he, when he got to drinking, and he was a drinking man, don't kid yourself, and all that stuff, I think he might get a little on the mean side. That's what I heard. I've heard all kinds of gossip about old Evel Knievel, but I don't care because I liked him because he was one Montana guy that was born and raised in Butte, Montana, and he struck out into this world and made a name for himself, and I was proud to be able to say that I sat down and had a nice, I would have liked to have talked to him a lot more than I did, than that half an hour or 40 minutes, but at least you got a chance to, talk to the man without him being mobbed by a bunch of people and stuff like that, because he was a celebrity, stuntman celebrity in his own rights, and I got one heck of a Ralph, I've got one heck of a lot more stories to tell about Butte, Montana, but I just thought I'd open up this by saying I used to work for the Bureau of Mines and Geology, and so I don't have to explain that no more if I decide to tell some Butte stories, because I know I can tell about at least, I'm going to say 4, 5, 6 stories, something like that. I've got a little library of stories from the 5 years I worked over there in Butte, But I'm over here, my home's in Livingston, Montana right now there, Ralph. So there you are. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have bored you for 15 minutes. See, that's what I'm talking about. And so I'm going to get off of here because I know that people don't like long videos. I mean, I don't mind making them. I can make them. It's just that I know a lot of people probably prefer to binge on YouTube. So therefore they want short videos. Okay, I got 1546 and all that kind of stuff. Ralph, thanks for writing. See you, folks. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year if I don't make a video between now and then. We'll see you on down the trail. Adios, my friends.